In a faraway kingdom wrapped in shimmering snow and glistening frost, a beautiful queen longed for a child. As snowflakes drifted from the heavens, she sewed by the window and whispered, "I wish for a daughter as white as snow, lips as red as roses, and hair as black as ebony." That winter, her wish came true. A baby girl was born, and she was everything the queen dreamed of. They named her Snow White. But alas, the queen's joy was short-lived. She passed away soon after. The king, broken-hearted, eventually remarried. His new queen was stunning but cruel, Queen Malvera, a powerful sorceress obsessed with beauty and vanity. She owned a magical mirror that could talk. Each day, she asked, "Queen, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? Mirror, you, my queen, are fair and grand, until Snow White grows in this land." From that day forward, Malvera's heart filled with icy hatred for Snow White. As Snow White blossomed into a kind and radiant young girl, her stepmother's envy grew fiercer. When Snow White turned 16, the mirror declared her the fairest of all. Malvera, burning with rage, summoned the royal huntsman. "Queen, take her into the woods and get rid of her. Bring me her heart as proof." The huntsman obeyed but couldn't go through with it. In the deep forest, with Snow White trembling before him, he whispered, "Huntsman, run, princess. Run and never return. The queen must never find you." Snow White fled deeper into the forest, weeping and frightened. Strange trees bent and creaked, but soon the forest turned magical. Fireflies danced, flowers sparkled, and the wind guided her path. After hours of wandering, she came across a tiny cottage nestled between ancient trees. She knocked but no one answered, so she stepped inside. Everything was miniature: 7 small beds, 7 tiny chairs, and 7 bowls of soup. Exhausted, Snow White curled up on the nearest bed and drifted into sleep. At sunset, 7 cheerful dwarfs returned home, singing and laughing from their day in the diamond mines.
Dwarfs singing.
Hi-ho, hi-ho, it's home from work we go. They were stunned to find someone sleeping in their cottage. Grumpy, there's a girl in my bed. Duck, she's a princess. Bashful, and so beautiful. Snow White awoke, startled. She introduced herself and told them her sad tale. The dwarfs, Doc, Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Sneezy, and Dopey, were touched. "Happy, stay with us, Snow White. We'll protect you." Snow White smiled, her heart warmed by their kindness. From that day forward, she cared for the cottage, cooking, cleaning, and telling the dwarfs stories as they returned from the mines. Back at the castle, the mirror once again spoke. "Mirror, Snow White lives, beyond your eyes. In the woods, where magic lies." Enraged, Malvera transformed herself into an old peddler woman. "Queen," to herself, "if you want something done right, do it yourself." She brewed a poison that could trap the soul in eternal slumber, a cursed apple, red as blood. Disguised and wicked, she set off into the forest. One sunny morning, Snow White sang while baking pies. The birds chirped, and butterflies fluttered as she hummed a joyful tune. Suddenly, an old woman appeared at the window. "Malvera, disguised sweet girl, would you like a bite of this magical apple? One taste grants your heart's desire." Snow White hesitated. "Snow White, I'm not supposed to talk to strangers." "Malvera, just a thank you gift for your kindness. One bite, dear." Tempted by the shimmering fruit and the old woman's warm tone, she took a bite. Snow White gasped. The world spun. The apple fell from her hand. She collapsed, eyes closed, heart still. Malvera cackled and vanished in a whirlwind of dark mist. The dwarfs returned that evening to a haunting silence. They found Snow White cold and still, lying by the fireplace, surrounded by woodland creatures in mourning. Grumpy, she's gone.
Doc, the queen did this.
I'm sure of it. They placed her in a crystal coffin in a clearing under the stars. The forest wept, snow fell gently, and animals gathered in sorrow. But Snow White's beauty remained untouched, like a frozen rose in winter. Far away, in a neighboring kingdom of ice and lakes, Prince Alaric heard tales of a sleeping beauty protected by dwarfs and guarded by forest magic. He journeyed through icy mountains and frozen rivers to see her. When he reached the glade, he saw Snow White and whispered, "Alaric, I have heard of your kindness, your voice, and your courage. You do not deserve to slumber in sorrow." He gently kissed her hand. A spark of magic swirled. The air shimmered with light.
Snow White stirred.
Her eyes fluttered open. Snow White, where am I? The dwarfs danced and cheered.
Doc, she's awake.
She's really awake. News of Snow White's awakening reached Queen Malvera. Furious, she stormed to the forest with her mirror. Mirror, your beauty has faded, your lies betrayed. The fairest now walks in light's cascade. In a final act of fury, Malvera unleashed a storm of black magic. But the forest, the dwarfs, the animals, and Prince Alaric united. The magic of the enchanted woods, awakened by Snow White's return, pushed back. The mirror cracked. Malvera screamed as her power dissolved into the wind, never to return. Snow White and Prince Alaric returned to the kingdom. The people rejoiced as peace and warmth returned. Snow melted, and spring bloomed. The king, freed from the queen's spell, embraced his daughter. A grand wedding was held. The dwarfs wore special robes and sat in the front row, beaming with pride. Happy, I always knew she'd find happiness. Grumpy, smiling, don't cry, bashful. Okay, maybe a little. Snow White ruled with wisdom and kindness, and Prince Alaric stood by her side. The forest remained enchanted, the dwarfs visited often, and laughter echoed in the glades. Narrator. And so, with courage, kindness, and love, Snow White proved that even in the darkest of winters, the heart can bloom, and the fairest of all is one who shines from within.